Hello, all you beautiful, wonderful, amazing tea people. Today I'm doing a quick video on the major differences and characteristics about the two main tea cultivars that are grown in Taiwan, namely milk oolong or the Qinxin cultivar. Number two would be Qinxin. Now in front of me I've got two Qinxins, two milk oolongs over here, two Qinxins over here. And what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to show you the way that these teas differ, and I'm going to try and explain to you why they're used for the different types of teas that they're used. So, for example, only one of these styles of teas is used for, well, commonly used for adding real flowers, flower scents, right? Only one of these tea cultivars is used for that, but we'll get into why in a minute. Now, first, let's jump in here. Let's take a quick overview of what these two tea cultivars look like. And as you, I don't know if you can see over here, I pulled out some already brewed out leaves so you can see what it actually looks like. Now, I did a quick couple searches and I was like, you know what? I want to show people the difference here. And what I found was this. Now, this right here, you can see this is by the Tributary Tea Company. So the Tributary Tea Company, I know nothing about them. I don't know where they're from. I don't know if they have really good tea or bad tea. But Tributary Tea Company, thank you very much for doing this. I actually found it on Reddit, as you can see up above there. And this is Oolong, a guide to differentiating Qinxin and Qinxin cultivar teas. And I found this to be actually really good and a really good way for you, if you wanted to see the difference between these teas. All right, so there you've got the Chinese characters, right? This is golden, lily. Over here you've got Qin, which can be like the blue greenish color or clear. Anyways, this has got a lot of different meanings, that one right there. And then Xin, which is the heart, of course. Now, if you look at this, you can see here, this is the way the tea leaves look, and you can actually tell. And we'll get into it. I'll show you what it looks like, but you can actually tell this when you brew your tea pretty easily, right? Pretty easily. Now, the new leaves, the small leaves at the top, you can't really tell, but the leaves down below, you can. You definitely can tell. Now, as you move down, you can see Qinxin has a smaller sawtooth edge, right? So if you look up here, you can't really see that sort of stuff going on, whereas the Qinxin really does. It's very, very easy to see. You can see that sawtooth edge. The veins run more vertically. Yeah, I guess. I don't know. This one, the veins which run more horizontally. Yeah, I guess. It's hard to tell with the already brewed tea, but what I use is straight versus round. And you can sort of see, maybe, thin versus fat, milk fat. Remember, milk fat. It's like it's more portly. It's bigger, right? So the milk oolongs are actually a little bit thicker, wider. They've got that roundness to them, whereas the Qinxins are more. They've got more of a sharper flavor as well. They're more refined, sharper, refined flavors. It just sort of goes straight up like that, right? And this is a really good picture. They did a really good job with this. So Tributary Tea Company, go check them out. I have no idea whether they're good or not, but thank you, Tributary Tea Company, for doing this. Now you can see, like when they're growing, again, it's kind of hard to tell, but here you can sort of see they're bigger, right? They're bigger, wider, okay? So wider leaves over here, and then these are sharper. And for me, maybe I've just been living in Asia too long. It's like, wow, these look fat. They taste like fat. These look sharp. They taste more sharp. I don't know. Is that valid? I don't know. But anyways, that's a good way to remember it as well. I won't die on that hill. But anyways, let's keep going. So when you're looking at the teas, I alluded to the main difference between the flavors of the teas. These teas are going to have more floral. They're going to have more vegetal. They're going to be sharper. But they're not going to be really wide and thick. They're not going to have a lot of milk fat. Remember, naixiang, milk oolong, comes from the word naixiang, which roughly translates into the positive aspects of milk fat. Now I can do a whole other video. I've actually got some. The last time I tried some like scented milk oolong, I literally gagged. so maybe that'd be good YouTube stuff. So maybe I'll do a video of that later on in the future. But real milk oolong, which these two are, doesn't taste like milk. It doesn't taste like cheese. It doesn't taste like, well, sometimes you can get a little bit of vanilla, but it is the direct translation of, not milk, the positive aspects of milk fat. Thick mouthfeel, warming, covering of the tongue, things like that. That is what milk oolong, that's where the name comes from. Like and again, I'll do a whole video on it, but the idea that there's somehow tea steamed in milk and that's part of the processing, no, that doesn't happen. Remember, too, in Taiwan, most people are lactose intolerant, and so that did not flow from this culture. Anyways, let's get into the teas now. What do I have right here? 3 out of these 4 teas are for sale on the site right now. This one is the Phoenix Valley Shanlin Shi. Oh no, this one's not for sale yet, but it will be eventually. This is the Jade Mountain, the Winter Jade Mountain. This one over here is not for sale on the site, and it actually kind of tastes like behind. It was a tea that I had been sitting on a shelf for a while. I knew it was Qinxin, and it was a lower quality tea from about 2008. So 2008. So it's been sitting there for like 4 years or so, and I tried it out. Maybe I'll go into it and taste it and tell you why it tastes like ASS, but this one doesn't. This is a beautiful tea. This one here is the Firefly Alishan Milk Oolong that's live on the site right now, and this is a gorgeous tea. Now again, when we're looking at these teas, you're looking at, an easy way to think about it is the Qinxin Oolong has more vegetals and more florals. The Qinxin, or the milk fat oolongs, they are having more thicker and oftentimes fruity mouthfeels, less florals, right? So you remember that question I asked you before. Now you're starting to see where the answer might be coming from, right? And so, when I'm going to go into here, I'm going to drink this tea, and first thing that hits me is the organic Jade Mountain wintertime oolong. Is this greenish bouquet of floral right up front. But in the mouth, it's sort of like the leaf, right? We'll get back to I got the leaves right here. We'll take a look at the leaves. But it's straight. It's a straight flavor. It's going straight back, down, smooth swallow, and a little bit of vegetal in there as well in the mid-mouth. Then, the aftertaste is a beautiful floral coming out. But what you're getting is green petals, green flower, something like that. Now over here we've got the Shanlin Shi, which is a different terroir. So you're looking at a similar type of taste, right? So this is a similar type of taste. But it's so much fun because they're basically almost identically kind of produced teas. But this one doesn't have the sharpness of the terroir. It's got a wideness, muddiness. The soil of the Phoenix Valley, the soil of Shanlin Shi, is mud, like mud to the point of rock, right? And so you get this muddy feeling, and then you let it sit in your mouth, and then it goes back into the back end, and then the aftertaste that comes out is really, really clear, like sort of letting mud settle. The aftertaste comes out really, really clear, and you're not getting the real aftertaste that those floral flavors in the up front. It's more muddy. There's vegetal and floral and all sorts of stuff going on, and then the aftertaste comes up, and then you're getting that beautiful floral burst. What is that? Green florals. You're getting these beautiful green florals. And oftentimes you're looking at high mountain oolongs, you're looking at those green florals. Because remember, the vast majority, we're talking like 90+% of teas that are grown above, say, 1600 meters, above that, they are Qinxin Oolong, right? Probably over 90%. I don't know. I'm making up, I'm sort of making up the exact amount, but it's certainly over 90%, right? Certainly over 90% is the Qinxin Oolongs. let's get over to the milk oolongs here. Now, what are we looking at the milk oolongs? So the milk oolongs, they do best around 1,000 to 1,300 meters. And if you are a verified tea nerd, what terroir is 1,000 to 100 or 1,300 meters around that area? Well, of course, it's Alishan. So the most famous Taiwanese high mountain oolongs are from Alishan, and they are predominantly grown with Qinxin. Now, Qinxin does best, I'm going to say 800 meters to 1,200, 1,300 meters in there, because the higher elevations tend to be a little bit too cold, a little bit too extreme, whereas the lower elevations for these types of teas, for the sort of the Qinxin teas, they're thick, full, they're stressed, but not too much stress, and this tea is a perfect example of that. Now, this is from the same area as the Alishan GABA. This is the same garden, same tea trees, but this is produced into sort of the greenish GABA, the high mountain oolong. And, you know, that a lot of people love that GABA tea because of its milky feel. It's very different than this, obviously, but it's got a milkiness to it. And the contrast between these two teas, even though they're quite similar, round, big, thick, wide mouthfeel, just like that. There is no real floral to speak of, but there it comes, and the aftertaste of it is quite fruity. Now, when you're talking about Naixiang or this idea of the milk oolong, that's really where it's coming from, right? That's really where it is. Is this wide, thick, milky mouthfeel, right? Again, positive aspects of milk fat. Naixiang, right? That's what the direct translation of milk oolong is. And the taste of it is so distinct from the Qinxin that once you have them side by side, you should be able to pick it out in the future. It should be okay to tell. But here's the key. Let's take a look at the leaves. All right, so we're going to jump back in here. We're going to go back. We're going to see these leaves again. You can see that there is quite a difference between the leaves. Now, these are leaves just from here. These are leaves from here. Now, take a look at this, right? So I'm going to hold this up, and we're going to go back in here and see if you can tell the difference just for me holding up to the camera. Now, I guess I probably should do some fancy stuff, but you know, look at the shape of the leaf, right? So you can see the shape of the leaf there. Now, can you tell what it is? Right? Can you tell what it is? Now, I'm going to hold up this other one over here, right? So I'm going to hold up this other leaf. And again, this is the teas that, you know, for sale on the site right now. Well, I guess that's I should probably use another camera and do a close-up of this, actually, which I'm going to rig up in the next couple of days. But you can see, look at that, right? So let's go in a little bit, see if the camera will zoom in on it. There is this long and lanky and sort of, well, rounder, pudgy. There we go. We won't say fat, we'll say pudgier. So the leaf here is pudgier, right? This is the Qinxin, and this is the Qinxin. And, you know, obviously, if you put them side by side, if you didn't have sort of what I showed you earlier, you're looking at them, you'd be like, what? No, they're not that different. But they actually are. They really are. There's the serration of the edges, the serrated edges, the serration of the edges. I guess that works. And just the general feel of them, right? And when, you know, I'll describe the taste of these teas and how it sort of comes out in the shape of the leaves. And it really does. It comes out in the shape of the leaves. So you can taste them. Again, it's best to taste them side by side. Pay attention to the cultivars. And when you do side by side, you really can tell this really big difference between these two leaves. Now let's go back to that question that I asked at the start. Which cultivar is most often mixed with fresh flowers to make a scented tea? Now, I guess you could go and cheat right now and go onto the Mountain Stream Tea's website and take a look at the Gardenia or the Wild Ginger or one of those types of teas, or see if you can find a Wayback Machine of the Pomelo and the Orange Blossom. But the answer, of course, is the tea that doesn't have a strong floral to begin with. And the tea that doesn't have a strong floral to begin with is the ginger. And so you get the milk fat feeling, you get the sort of the fruitiness, and then you add on top an external floral that doesn't fight. With this, I've seen scented teas I've tried scented teas with the Qinxin, and it fights a little bit. It fights. Right? You're getting two different florals. Whereas with this, it's just one floral, and it works really well. So there we have it. The main differences between the two most popular cultivars produced in Taiwan. The Qinxin variety, again, mostly the higher elevations, obviously in some lower elevations as well. Then we got the Qinxin, which is best had a little bit lower down the mountain than the Qinxin. One has really strong florals, sort of a sharp, smooth flavor. The other one is round, milky, milk fatty, thick, and fruity. And it's kind of reflected in their leaves, the way the shape of their leaves look. If you got more questions about this stuff, let me know in the comments, or you can get in touch. I always love talking about this stuff. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next video.